President Donald Trump has retaliated against Harvard University for their refusal to bend to his demands, which included reforming its governance, ending DEI, changing its admissions and hiring, and curbing the power of certain students. Don't know what they mean by that, faculty and administrators, due to their ideological views. Look, this sounds a lot like censorship to me. And of course, Harvard, they said no. We're not interested in that. As a result of them saying no, the government ended up freezing $2.2 billion in multi-year grants to the Ivy League school. School's president, Alan Garber, said the school will not surrender to its independence or its constitutional rights. Now, they're using claims, the government, they're using these claims of anti-Semitism on campus to try to justify pulling the funding and basically telling this college what they're going to do. Okay. To try to change, to get rid of DEI and all that stuff. Oh, if you get money from us, then you have to do all this stuff. Here's the thing, though. As far as the anti-Semitism claims, they're absolutely ridiculous. Okay. All you have to do to be considered an anti-Semite by this administration is just criticize the state of Israel. That's it. I mean, claiming that it's anti-Semitic to criticize the Israeli government, that is the real anti-Semitism. Obviously, not every Jewish person is Israeli. Not every Jewish person agrees with the Netanyahu government. In fact, a lot of the protesters on these campuses were actually Jewish people. That's it. Who do not agree with the systematic collective punishment of all Palestinians in Gaza for the actions of Hamas. But Trump doesn't care. He doesn't care about free speech on college campuses. I remember when the right wing claimed to care about free speech. When conservative speakers were getting protested for coming to speak at these campuses. I remember the flip out. They cry, oh my God, my free speech. Oh no. But then now, if you have an opinion that is not pro-genocide, well, suddenly you have no free speech. You're not allowed to speak. And by the way, if you're on a visa, if you're on a student visa, we're just going to take that away. And then we're going to deport you to an El Salvadoran prison. Jesus. They're taking the college's money because, oh, you don't allow align with Donald Trump's goals. Can't have that.
Can't let that happen.
So now Garber posted on the school's website that the administration's demands were not aimed at fighting hatred towards Jewish people. He said, although some of the demands outlined by the government are aimed at combating anti-Semitism, the majority represent direct governmental regulation of our intellectual conditions at Harvard, meaning that they are literally trying to change what is acceptable thought. These are the people that claim that colleges are indoctrination centers, and they're now, of course, trying to use funding, the threat of pulling funding, to turn them into actual right-wing indoctrination centers. Of course. Or not only that, but to try to prevent any kind of independent thought by young people. Isn't it so interesting how fast they turn to censorship? And it's not just Harvard or any of the other Ivy League schools that are the target of this. In fact, here is Representative Elise Stefanik calling for all colleges to be defunded.
Higher education has fundamentally lost its way, and it's increasingly out of touch, and the tuition rates go higher and higher. So we need to defund across the board, and President Trump is rightly holding these schools accountable.
Accountable for what? What did these schools do that was wrong, other than not bend to the whims of a madman? Okay, And by the way, I love how she points out, it's just not working for people. Tuition keeps going higher and higher, which is why we will do the one thing that will make tuition go even higher. Because that is why tuition is so high in the first place. The government stopped investing in colleges. And I know it's mainly, state governments, but also the federal government. I remember a time, well, I didn't personally live through this time, but I remember reading about a time, I know, crazy, where you actually had colleges that were affordable. I know. Insane. We don't have that anymore, but that's because of Ronald frickin' Reagan. But here's the thing, though. Pulling the funding from these colleges may sound like a dumb plan. And it is. But, it is part of their plan. They do not want people to be educated, especially working class people. They believe that higher education should only be reserved for the super rich, because they don't want regular working people challenging their authority by getting all educated. I know. So I guess too many young people challenging right-wing rule. We don't like it. Too many smart people out there. We need to dumb them all down. So let's defund the schools to make sure that they, for one, implement changes that will make these schools reinforce a conservative worldview. We're also going to, get rid of the Department of Education, which handles student loans. We're going to roll that into the Small Business Administration. We're going to do all these things to make higher education inaccessible. And that's it. It's not enough for them that there are conservative colleges. There absolutely are. There are religious schools that people can choose to go to. The thing is, they want to make it so that there isn't a choice. There is no choice. You will only get the education that we approve of. And that's it. Because educated people have and always will be the biggest threat to far-right ideology. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.